Okay, folks. I don't know how well this is going to work. This is my first time doing this. I don't know what the volume's like. I hope it works out. If not, I'll redo it using my camera. Okay, this is about mosquito control. Um, let's see, Tatum Treat Minor. This is for you and anyone else in the Anyone Can Farm tribe that is interested in mosquito control. I'm also going to add a link at the end of this to give you a little insight on mosquitoes as to the life cycle. There are several different types of mosquitoes in the United States, so they are in different regions, I guess you would say. On average, the mosquitoes that we have in the South are I can't remember the exact name of them, but it'll be posted in the link that I leave at the end. There's they have adapted to survive and go through their entire life cycle within 4 days, up to a month. So one of the most successful ways of trapping mosquitoes, and there was a video posted on Facebook several years back by some guy from India. And he took a 2-liter Coke bottle, and at the top of the Coke bottle, where the label is attached to it, there's a little line that goes around the top of the bottle. So you take your razor blade, you just cut on that line, and you cut that top third off of the bottle, and you invert it. And I'm going to go ahead and do that real quick and show you what I mean. Bear with me here just for a couple seconds. It won't take long. I said it won't take long. These Coke bottles are they don't like to cooperate sometimes when I'm doing this, especially when I'm doing videos. All right, there we go. I said there we go. All right. So you just try to cut it off as straight around that line as possible. Get rid of the cap because you don't need it. But you can make as many of these as you possibly can. Just like that. Then you want, of course, you want to wash out any residue of Coca-Cola or anything like that. Drop the cap inside, the top part inside, so it makes a funnel. Okay, so it looks like that now. It's got the funnel is inverted into the bottle. And what you want to do with this, you can put some kind of tape around the edge right here, like electrical tape or something, just to keep the cap in place. And then what you want to do is you want to put, I'd say, approximately a cup of stagnant pond water, puddle water, ditch water, pond water, anything like that. Do not use tap water. The chlorine and fluoride and everything like that, the mosquitoes, they smell that and they'll go away from it. They don't like it. Now, in an emergency, or if they're on the last stages of their life and they've bred and they're ready to lay eggs, in an emergency they will do it, but they will go in there. The purpose of this, and you don't put anything else in it, People tell you put sugar in it, put yeast in it, and baking soda or vinegar or something like that because it creates CO2. That is not what the mosquitoes are after. Mosquitoes are attracted to that, yes, because they're attracted to the carbon dioxide that comes out of your mouth. That's why mosquitoes come around humans all the time. And also, they can smell your blood. Believe it or not, they can smell blood. Now, the stagnant water is what the mosquitoes are actually looking for to lay their eggs. Female mosquitoes are the only mosquitoes that bite and suck blood. The male mosquitoes do not suck blood. They are one reason only. They exist for one reason, and that's to procreate. That's it, plain and simple. Female, after she is not ready to lay eggs until she has fed on blood, because that blood is what helps to boost her I don't even know what the word to use, but the blood that she gets is what's going to help her start producing the eggs after she mates. Okay. So now what happens is that the mosquitoes, the adult female mosquito will go inside this bottle and she will lay her eggs, and then she's going to die because she can't get out of this bottle. She does not know that the center of that funnel is her only way out. So she'll fly up along the side of the bottle up here and she'll get trapped. And eventually she'll die and fall into the water. That's the reason why you want tape around the top of these things, so that every now and then, you know, after you see that it's, you know, packed full of mosquitoes, then you can empty it and then just put another piece of tape on it again, you know, or if you've got clips, some kind of clips or something that you can clamp around there to avoid having to use tape all the time, that's fine too. But the main thing is that you just put it out. You can put this out in the woods, stick it in the bushes, in your flower beds, your garden, or anywhere else, just with stagnant water. Rainwater is even fine. If rainwater falls in here after a couple of days, it'll go stagnant and it'll be the perfect medium for the mosquitoes to lay their eggs in. Now, the other part of this is a product that I got off of Amazon, and I got this a couple of years ago. I bought several of these. These are called mosquito dunks. It says right on the back right there, it says mosquito dunks. This is a biological mosquito control. The only thing that eats these is the larvae. The mosquito in its larvae stage feeds on decaying organic matter in the water that they're laid in. Okay. So if you put some of this inside one of these bottles, all you have to do is take one of these little rings out. I'll take one out real quick and show you. You just take, and these are perfectly safe. You could eat this and it would not hurt you. Your animals will not be affected by it. No farm animals will be affected by this. This is specifically designed as a mosquito agent. It only kills mosquitoes. All right, so you can take this thing right here, this little donut, and you can it's when you get them and you look at them, this one you can, I don't know, you can't see this. I can't. Yeah, you can. Okay, you see how it's all kind of oddly shaped on it? That's because I take my little penknife and I just kind of scrape little bits of it off and put it inside these bottles out in the woods. And that, it doesn't take much, just a couple little tiny chunks of it in the water, and it'll dissolve into the water. The mosquitoes will eat it and they die. Now, that's just the food to kill the larvae. If you didn't kill the larvae, they would still eventually die. This is just a failsafe because, again, the mosquitoes are not smart enough to figure out that the center of this little tiny hole in the bottom of this thing right here is their only way out. They tend to migrate up around the sides of the bottle, and they get caught in there, and they eventually asphyxiate because they're the air is going to the good air is going to be used up after a period of time, and they'll just fall into the water and die. But the main purpose of the donut is to kill the larvae. Once the adults go inside of here, and more than one adult will fly into these things to lay their eggs, as long as you're using stagnant water. So you just, like I said, just take these. You can as many 2-liter bottles as you can muster up and do this with. Invert that top part of the cone into the bottle and just put them anywhere and everywhere that you can think of. Put them under your house. Put them in, if you've got an open garbage can, mosquitoes love going into places that are dark. So if you've got an empty garbage can or a 55-gallon drum, a stack of tires or anything like that laying around, that's where you want to put these things. And you stick them inside flower beds and, hide them under the bushes and stuff like that. They will find it because they have a nose for that stagnant water. Thing about mosquitoes that a lot of people don't realize is that a mosquito can lay its eggs in a drop of dew. That's why mosquitoes, people have a nice green yard and everything, and there's not a puddle of water or anything for the mosquitoes to lay their eggs in. All it takes is a drop of dew. And if they can get it in, find a plant that holds water, like a bromeliad type plant or something like that. If you've got plants outside, just the smallest amount of water is all it takes. It doesn't have to be a half-inch deep pool anywhere or a big puddle or anything like that. They'll lay it in the smallest amount of water that you can imagine. Now, Amazon also sells this mosquito dunk product in pellets, in a pellet form. And that pellet form, you can sprinkle that in your yard, and that will help tremendously for, just a slight chance of damp area. There's always going to be a little puddle somewhere in a damp area, maybe low-setting grass or something like that, a little ditch water in your culvert. Check places around like that, your culvert out at your driveway. One of the good things about these right here, you can take, depending on the size of your pond, if you've got a pond that is, I'm going to say it's fed by rain and not a creek. If it's not fed by a creek or a spring or something of that sort, if it's just a standalone pond and it's filled by the rain and then it evaporates and then it fills again by the rain, that pond is going to kind of be more on the stagnant side. So depending on your size of pond, it gives you the directions on the package as to how many of these you'll want to float in your pond, and it'll kill the mosquitoes larvae in your pond. Now, of course, some fish will eat mosquitoes. Of course, they have to be pretty small fish because the bigger fish can't hardly see them, and they move around rather fast in the water. But you just throw a couple of these, float them in your pond, and I think they'll last for up to a month. Another thing that I like to do with these is I live on a piece of property that about a quarter of a mile up the road, all the property from that point down to my back property line has a pitch so that the water from a quarter mile up the road runs all across my neighbor's 11 acres and onto my property. So, and then when it hits my property, it continues to go. Now, the property does absorb a lot of the water, but a lot of it just keeps going and passes on. So what I like to do is I take these donuts right here and I tie a piece of nylon cord and I tie it on the bottom strand of fence wire. Around my property has a perimeter of an old barbed wire fence, and most of it is all down. Most of it's torn down, and I'm not going to bother putting up barbed wire fence again. I'm just leaving what's there for right now. But I hang these down from those, and I allow it enough length on the string so that this will lay flat on the ground. And then I tie the string off onto the fence. And when it rains and the water starts running across my yard, this basically just kind of lifts up and floats across the water, releasing tiny particles of this all over my yard. So that whichever way the water goes, it takes this with it. So if the water happens to stop at a certain point on my property and sets up in puddles, it'll have this in it. Now, as far as the black gnats are concerned, I really don't know what to tell you about that. I don't know if those gnats would be attracted. You could try it. You could try taking a bottle like this right here and putting a little bit of apple cider vinegar in it and hanging it on a tree. You know, just run a couple pieces of wire or string or something through it and hang it from a little tree branch somewhere. And see if they're attracted to the apple cider vinegar. If they are, they will also fly off in here and get trapped because for some reason, these bugs do not understand that the way that they went in is the same way that you got to go out. So they get in there and they will fly around and get trapped all up inside here in the top up here. And then they'll fall into the water or the vinegar and die. So it's the gnats, I believe, are attracted to the scent, you know. So if you can find something, a scent that they're attracted to, if you can, put it in a bottle. All right. Let's see what else. I guess that's it. That's the best advice that I've got for you. And you can take these things, and I've got them all over my property. And they just fill up with mosquitoes. I go out there and I dump them, put some more pond water in it, set them back up. Now you can if you've got a wooded area, you can take these out there and just kind of spread them around, maybe every 25 or 30 feet around trees somewhere. You can, if you've got a little hook or some sort or a nail or something, you can nail it right at the base of the tree. You don't want to put it up too high or anything because mosquitoes are looking for something that's closer to the ground. They like the dark. So you can do that, or you can put a piece of tape on it, a piece of duct tape it around the tree or whatever. Just whatever's easiest for you to do as far as putting these around. But I tell you what, they work. The only place that I have mosquitoes at my property right now is a black plastic garbage can that I have out beside my deep freezer on my back porch. And in that garbage can, I put the spent bags. I don't know what they're some kind of woven bag that I get my corn and sweet feed in. And when I empty the bags, I fold them up and then I stuff them down inside that thing. But every time I go out there, I'll kick that basket or that garbage can, and about 20 or 30 mosquitoes will come flying up out of it. But that's the only place I have mosquitoes on my property. I can walk out in my woods. I can walk anywhere else on my property, out to the pond and everywhere else. Not a single mosquito bite or anything. So that's it. Very cheap, Very economical. These things aren't that expensive. I want to thank, and I bought these a while ago. I bought like 4 packs of these about a year and a half, maybe 2 years ago. And I think they were $20, $15 or $20 a pack. And there's 20 of them in a pack. So like I said, I spread them out across my fence line that divides my property and my neighbor's property, where the water runs onto my property. And that's where I tie these things across the fence. I just tie them across about every 20 feet. I'll hang one of these things from a piece of nylon cord. And you might have to go out there and replace one, every month. But that's it. It's the best I got for you. All right, we'll talk to y'all later.